And good evening, everybody. Welcome to AlphaX StarCraft 2 channel, where we will be hosting tonight's Alpha Team League. This is the Alpha 13 America's Pro between All Inspiration and AlphaX. My name is Rushy. I am joined this evening in co-casting with none other than Salavanth. Sally, how you doing today?
Doing pretty well. Looking forward to the match. All Inspiration, very good team. Pretty much everyone knows who they are at this point. They've been around for a very long time, competing in a lot of different team leagues. It'll be interesting to see it, especially players like Tech 4, who's playing today. Hasn't been a master for all that long, so I'll be impressed to see if he can hang with the grandmaster players around him.
Yeah, definitely have a pretty strong lineup for both teams today, but noticing oh, sure, sorry, I was just reading there. But taking a look at the actual lineups here, it is a little bit stacked in the AlphaX camp here. 4 Grandmasters versus 2 Masters and 2 Grandmasters. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean a whole lot. Could just mean that Got Quail and Tech 4 have not played enough games to qualify for the Grandmaster ladder, but it does kind of look intimidating on paper. So All Inspiration definitely putting their best players forward tonight, I'm sure, and hopefully going to be in for some great matches here. We do have 4 matches en route here for you, with a 5th ace match if we need it this evening. The maps are already picked out. Automaton will be our first map, followed by King's Cove. Year 0 be map number 3. Cyber Forest, map number 4 if we need it. It's a chance that one of the teams could take a 3-0 victory and not need the final 2 maps. And then Kairos Junction would be our ace map should we need this. It is a best of 5. So hoping maybe we can get to see some of those players down the list here. It's going to be BioEyes versus Got Quail first, a ZVZ on Automaton. Talk to me about that, Salavanth. What do you think we can look forward to in game number 1 here?
Well, I don't know much about Got Quail, but I do know that Automaton is a very good map for air. So I think we might see Mutalisks at some point. It's a very big map. It's difficult for roaches to get across it. Though it's also a very open map, so roach versus roach can get pretty crazy if people are good with their spreading out of their roaches, which BioEye certainly is. I don't know about Got Quail, haven't seen him play. And it's also worth noting, remember the on-paper mismatch of AlphaX versus All Inspiration? Well, that's very much true. Both sides have a 4-2 record in the league so far. So, in terms of what brass tacks, when it comes down to it, both sides seem to be doing just as well.
Absolutely. So we are going to get ready here to jump in. I've sent you a, not party invite, I've sent you a game invite here. We want to make sure we get you in.
Just resend that.
So that way we can have both of our casters in this lobby here. There we go. We'll go ahead and signal that we are ready to go.
Got Quail is written as Terran when he is supposed to be a Zerg player, correct?
Oh,
unless that's a mistake on the website.
All right. So we're getting ourselves set up here. Should be just a moment and we will be able to dive right into Automaton here to play these amazing games we have in store. You guys can actually head out to the Alpha Team League website here. I'm going to drop that link in the chat for you very, very briefly. And you can go and use your Oracle powers to make your predictions for tonight's event. Who do you think is going to take the winning game here tonight? You can choose whether you think AlphaX will win more games or All Inspiration winning more games, and you can go so far as to determine how many games each team is going to win. So I'm going to put you on the spot, Sally. What do you think tonight's prediction is going to be?
Let's see. I don't know much about Bunny Willis, but I think that AlphaX is going to win the first 2 games. I think it's going to be 3-0 or 3-1. I'm going to be nice and say 3-1 AlphaX.
I was going to take a 3-0 AlphaX. I feel like momentum is a very, very strong strong impact in team games especially, or team matches especially. And if BioIce and Uzi Cody can come out strong with 2-0 victories for AlphaX, I don't see Mamba slipping up against Bunny Willis. I think I've heard Mamba plays really well against Terran, so that could be a very good matchup for him in this team series. So I'm going to say 3-0 AlphaX, but, you know, I'm ready for AlIn to surprise me.
It's certainly possible. I agree. It was a tough decision. Wouldn't be surprised if it does turn out to be a 3-0. Got Quail is a 5100 MMR Zerg, which is quite good, quite skilled, but against someone like BioIce, a Titan at 5800 MMR, it's just going to be difficult. If this was a best of 3, I'd already be saying it was lights out for Got Quail, but this is a best of 1. Anything can happen.
Absolutely.
A friend of mine named Light at about 4500 MMR recently took a best of 3 actually against a GM player by just ling-all-inning him. So, you never know what we might see. I say he's a friend, but then he proceeded to beat me, so I don't know if we're friends anymore.
Oh no. Rushy, are
A
you
Southeast
casting?
Asian event.
Yes, seeing as you've pulled up today's stream and you see my glorious face sitting here, I will be, in fact, casting these games with Salavanth. So, it is something that you can get excited for. I know I don't have a mustache. I'm getting trash talked in the game chat for not having a mustache. Salavanth, do you have a mustache? Do we need to get your face on this stream instead of mine?
I got a bit of one, but it's not exactly impressive. I might just infuriate people further.
Ugh. Is that one of those, like, the worse than no mustache is like a poor mustache?
Yeah, I'd say so.
That's fair. That's fair.
I like my beard, but my mustache game, just not up to par.
Well, I am almost 30 years old and I can grow a beard like a 12-year-old, so I just am better off not doing it at all. So you're gonna have to deal, chat. I mean, if you're really heartbroken and upset about that, well, you know, you're gonna have to make some peace with it. Because here I am, baby-faced and all. Well, sort of. I've got a little bit of stubble, but it's funny because my stubble's taken me about 5 days to get to just like where it's almost noticeable on camera, and even then it's pretty lackluster.
Dude, let me tell you, I'm jealous. If it took like a week for me to get even a bit of stubble, I'd only have to shave every like 3 months. I'd be so happy. There's advantages.
Fair enough. Fair enough. All right. Well, I believe we are waiting for Got Quail here. He just jumped into chat, so looks like we are going to get ourselves going. In game number 1.
You want to take first intro or second, Roshi?
I would love to take the first intro here as we are jumping into Automaton. This is going to be the first matchup here between AlIn and AlphaX. Buckle in. It's going to be a fun night of games, everybody.
It sure is. We will just take a bit to load in since it's many of our first games of the day, including myself.
Oh.
Got Quail versus BioIce. Here we go.
All right. Here we go, folks. Best of 1. So, spawning in the bottom left corner of Automaton LE, playing for AlphaX. This is our pink Zerg player. Give it up for BioIce.
And in the top right, already looking to get pretty aggressive. He's the underdog, but he is not giving up without a fight. It is Got Quail. So there's something I've found.
What's that?
In the contenders tournament, which is 5600 MMR and below. Sometimes we've had to bring in M3s as essentially backups. And there tends to be 2 kinds of people who play in these things. People who are outmatched on paper. One type just plays their standard game and they're okay with losing and then they move on, but the other kind really takes it to their opponent and tries to win no matter who the opponent is. And I definitely love to cast those people, and I think Got Quail is one of those people because he is going for that aggressive 12 pool. It's an interesting gas timing. Usually you see this without gas at all, and they just take a hatchery afterwards. The thing is, a 12 pool without any gas behind it is actually a macro-based opening. It's a pressure opening. whereas the 13-12 much more aggressive, wants to try and end the game straight away because we do see that hatch going out for God Quail. It's a pretty big distance. Do you play Zerg?
Oh,
Russia?
absolutely.
I can't remember you. Oh, great. Then could you tell us a bit about how these two things might interact? Because ZVZ is not my strong point.
Well, this is going to be interesting here with the hatch gas pool opening versus a 12 pool out of Got Quail. BioIce is going to have to pull his workers off of the mineral line here to try and deflect this incoming wave of Zerglings. It's not impossible to do. The spawning pool is going to finish up here right as the Zerglings reach the natural expansion. And the natural is going to be allowed to finish, so he's going to have to make a choice here. He's going to make 4 Zerglings here. Yep, and there's the pull on the workers. Workers are going to come down. Workers can actually fight rather well against the Lings if microed correctly, but you really do need your own Lings to help deal some damage. And they're the first 4 Lings that do pop out, but there's already a nice amount of damage on these drones. Drones do get a nice surround and a wraparound on the Lings, and the Lings of Got Quail are going to get pushed away here, but at the cost of 5 drones. This is not deadly damage by any stretch of the imagination. The Queen is going to be able to be placed down on the bottom of the ramp. And yeah, this is going to be an okay transition here. BioIce is actually still up in workers 18-13, so this is actually a pretty nice hold.
Yeah, I think that was a great defense from BioIce. He's very far ahead now. Got Quail committed a lot of Lings to that attack. He didn't just commit 6 Lings, as a lot of players do. He committed 8, 10, 12, which were drones. You cannot afford to lose this early in the game. But Got Quail's just going to do it again. He's going to go for a speedling attack, and he's pooling Lings at his main base. He's like, I'm so far behind economically, I'm never going to catch up. And I think that's extremely good. Oh man, BioIce could be completely duped by this. He's making 6 drones now.
Yeah,
and he's going to lose all of these Lings as he moves them across the map. Because his opponent has speed and he doesn't. This is terrible for BioIce.
Yeah, this is going to be a really poor opportunity here. The most he can do now is just kind of fight in the corner, and that is not going to be enough. 10 Zerglings are going to be on the way. He really needs that Baneling nest to deflect all of this, but he's over-droned here. 22 army to 14 for BioIce is not going to pan out well. He's got 18 Lings on the way, so this isn't, again, impossible. The Queens are going to sit on the ramp here and prevent the Ling flood into the main base. Drones are finally going to get pulled. Oh, and they're going to be held in position here and allow no retreat to come out from these Lings. Speed's finally done here for BioIce, and he's managed to mitigate the damage at least enough to hold on, but the Queens are going to be the casualty here. So he doesn't have any injects going now to counteract this damage. The natural base is so low here. If Got Quail sticks around long enough, he can actually pick this off, and then it's incredibly devastating damage for BioIce. But so far, BioIce holds.
I was so sure BioIce was dead here, but Got Quail's not giving up. The 2 Lings of it, Ling packs just jockeying for position around, trying to get any bites on the hatchery he can. The Baneling nest is about halfway done. BioIce producing more and more Lings. He is still ahead economically. The trade is going to go down, and I think the BioIce is going to win this fight just barely, sending Got Quail back 30 drones to 13, and he managed to survive. With those beautiful Queens on the ramp, the drone block, fighting with everything he had. And now BioIce is in a great position. He's getting Banelings, and once those come up, this rush is over.
Yeah, the Banelings are going to be able to seal the deal here, and Got Quail realizes it, taps out, GG is called, and BioIce takes the first game in our series here between these 2 players. So, or these 2 teams, excuse me. So, GG. As we move on into our second map and our second set of players, we'll be going to King's Cove here with Uzi Cody versus Tech 4.
Man, I feel bad for Got Quail. He played that out to perfection, but the difference in skill was just too high. Sometimes, like, I think it's about 400, 500 MMR that's usually at the top of your kill range. Anything after that, it's almost like there's nothing you can do. BioIce is just so good. Got Quail was tactically, strategically excellent. He would have won any match against someone that was close to his own level, but BioIce just knew exactly what to do.
Yeah, and that's kind of the, I think that might be exactly what you alluded to, just that difference between the master level and the grandmaster level is those tactics and making those quick emergency decisions, being able to make some solid play choices in amidst the chaos. And actually, I'm a little surprised that Quail didn't go for the exposed hatchery. There really wasn't anything down on the low ground once the drones were pulled up to protect the ramp. So in most cases, instead of trying to engage the queens on the choke, where the queens are going to be able to trade out effectively versus the lings, you take the lings and you just go right into the exposed hatchery. If Quail takes out that second base, this is suddenly a different game for both players, where BioIce isn't able to remax, well, I say remax, but I mean, we're talking like 30 supply. He isn't able to remake the same amount of army as Got Quail is able to, and suddenly the hold is not as effective. It's not as useful. So, but again, tactics are always, hindsight is 2020, and tactics are always best viewed after the fact when you have time to think about them. So, I mean, who's to say? It was just good decision making on BioIce's part, holding and not panicking, and doing a really good job mitigating the damage. But we are going to move into game number 2 here. It's going to be on King's Cove. It's going to be a TVZ. Now, last I heard, Uzi Cody really likes his TVZ.
And we're on West US, so I think we will be resetting this game. Yeah, because Uzi Cody is French, so he doesn't want to be playing on West. He would like to be playing on East US to minimize the latency that he'll receive to the North American server.
That's what I was thinking. So we'll go ahead and wait patiently for that. Next map to load up here. We'll take a peek here at some of the other matchups we have going. So it is a 1-0 lead for AlphaX at this point. We will be seeing a TVZ, Uzi Cody versus Tech 4. Coming up after that will be 2 more TVZs. Bunny Willis versus Mamba, and Star Killer, Star Killer versus Jim Tony. So the Pizza Man himself is the ace in the hole for AlphaX. What is he up to? 22 pizzas?
He was at 20 last time I checked, and that was months ago, so at least, I'd say. Definitely the champion of the pizza pie tournament. Anyone wants a pizza, they're gonna have to go through him.
Oh. I mean, I think I need to call him and make sure, like, he's putting all these extra pizzas, like, in a freezer somewhere. Because once you've won 22 pizzas, you get to the point, it's like, oh, I just can't have pizza again. So you just start stashing it wherever you can. Put it in the fridge, put it in the freezer, pull it out at some point. But he's definitely cornering the market on pizza-based StarCraft 2 prizes. And
yeah, and these are my StarCraft trophies. And then he just opens his freezer.
I won this one playing against this guy, and then, oh yeah, here's the Supreme Pizza. That one I'm really proud of. So
he just puts his like victories on each one, like Star Killer versus BioIce 3-1.
it's in pepperoni. It's in pepperoni on the pizza. And see, that's why he's picked a larger name, so that way he has to win the large pizza, so they've got enough space to spell Star Killer. Oh, I mean, this guy, pizzas. Let's just put it that way.
Next level play. Anyway, we have introductions to make.
Absolutely. We're jumping in here to King's Cove, spawning in the top left of King's Cove. Our purple Zerg going for another early aggression here. This is going to be for all inspiration. This is Tech 4.
And in the bottom right, the machine gun Terran himself. Wave your Uzis and fire into the air for Uzi Cody.
See, you zoom in and you can just yeah, you can just hear it. So it's really cool.
Fun fact, his SCV's mine, like 10% faster than other SCVs because they're afraid of getting shot if they don't.
Ooh, I had not learned that, so this is good to know. But this is going to be a very early pool, very early second gas he's just going to use to steal a drone. So nothing too scary here. I was going to be like, wow, this is going to be like the world's quickest roach aggression I've ever seen. But nope, just trying to get the extra drone out so he can maximize that economy. Nothing too wild to speak of here. But there are going to be 2 barracks.
Wild. This is definitely wild. Like, He's making the very fast first gas. You don't normally do that. You can take 2 gas and go for Ravages, but this is clearly going to be like a very fast sort of speedling aggression. But I'm not sure. I'm not sure what there might be behind this. Have you ever seen a build like this before, Roshi, where you just do this off 1 base? Because I'm not sure what the follow-up here is for.
Yeah, I think this is kind of a big committal here. You go for the 3 barracks into Reapers, and you just kind of go with it. I think you get to a point where if you've lasted long enough and you haven't lost all your Reapers, he actually did this last night on the Proxy Tempest tournament that we casted. He actually dropped reactors.
I was talking about Tech 4's build, actually.
Oh, Tech 4's build. Excuse me.
Do you know what he's doing?
So this just seems to be... really, really early aggression here, and usually you follow this.
He's got a ton of gas banked up. What's he gonna do with that gas?
Yeah, usually you toss down the extra base, but he's decided to go into lair off of this.
Base lair. What is this?
Maybe he wants to go for really fast mutas? I don't know. I'm not quite sure here. Baneling speed's an option, but that just seems like a waste at this point. So we'll have to see here and be patient while Tech 4 decides to hide his tech as long as possible. The Reaper is going to get in and scout the insanely early lair and extra gas. So Uzi Cody's got to be scratching his head as well, but he's also got to be sitting here going, absolutely yes, because he's going to have Reapers. He's going to be able to focus all of his aggression onto just 1 base, doesn't have to spread out the love here. And yeah, I think Uzi Cody's going to have a really nice go at this. At bare minimum, it does balance out the aggression that he has coming across the map as well.
Yeah, I guess this is such a weird game, but I think overall Uzi Cody's favored because 1 base versus 1 base is good for the Terran, and Uzi Cody, like, he's able to actually play a sort of defensive 3-base repeat. 3 racks Reaper, you'd think, but here comes the Spire. It is 1 base Mutalisk. I've never seen this before in my life.
Well, it's
good. It was not for like 6 years back, in Wings of Liberty when no one knew how to play the game.
Well,
I've never seen anything like this in modern StarCraft.
If Uzi Cody doesn't take Tech 4 out soon, there will be a second base at the natural here, so it is going to have a second base for Larva, and pretty much, I would imagine, Larva only, but this is getting really aggressive here. The Reapers are able to pick off the Queen, and now there's not a whole lot of staying power in the base of Tech 4, and these Reapers are just going to start doing work here. 9, 10, 11, 12 workers just going down for only trading off 1 Reaper.
The Mutalisks aren't going to be done in time, and there's not enough money to produce them even if there were. No, Uzi Cody's just struck with a 1 base attack before the tech of Tech 4 could really come into play.
Oh yeah, this is just GG. Brutal.
Wow, that was a weird game.
GG is called, and Uzi Cody commanding win here in game number 2 of this series. Yikes.
I'm not sure if I like that build. Like Tech 4, he knew he needed something strange to throw Uzi Cody off guard because Uzi Cody is just so good, but like, what was the end game here? He makes like 3 or 4 Mutalisks off 1 base, and then what? There's probably Marines and 2 bases for Uzi Cody.
Yeah,
so I'm not sure how this was supposed to actually win the game.
So about the only thing I can think of that would be maybe even a possibility is if Uzi Cody went into Hellions really early on. If he just shows up with Mutalisks,
right,
he could possibly, and again, we're stretching this really, really far. He could
you're
possibly
right. I
have
think that
enough
was the
time.
plan. Hellion Banshee is a very popular opening for Terran, and then that basically has no anti-air. I think that's what Tech 4 was trying to take advantage of.
But I don't think he can even get out enough mutas for that to be a super strong, viable strat to deal like game-ending damage. Because when you are delaying the second base for so long as a Zerg player, you're basically saying, okay, I can kill you with this push. I can shut you down and end the game. And I don't know if, I mean, gosh, if he would have been able to get up uncontested, he might have enough for 5, maybe 6 mutas off of 2 gas. I just don't see that as game-ending damage.
I agree. But, I mean, I guess this works for Tech 4 before, because he wouldn't have pulled it out against Uzi Cody unless he thought he might be able to win.
It's true. It's true. So, Uzi Cody doing a nice job reading the room and picking a build that really worked well against Tech 4's decision here. So this is going to take us to our match point, where we are sitting 2-0 for AlphaX over All Inspiration. It's going to come down to Bunny Willis to keep AllIn in this matchup this evening. This is the America's Pro Alpha Team League Series here. I'm Rushy, joined by Salavanth, and we are your casters this evening for these pretty fun games. So we're going to be patient here as we get this next lobby set up. But we do have another TVZ. It's going to be on Year Zero. Now, Salavanth, I want to pick your brain. Year Zero, kind of a different map in the map pool this season compared to even just a couple of last map pools that we've had. Talk to me about your feelings Year Zero, especially in the TVZ matchup.
All right. So I'm mostly a Protoss player, so my understanding of Year Zero is a bit based on that. But Year Zero seems to be it's a very macro-oriented map. It doesn't seem that way at first, but it really is. It's a long map, it's difficult to get across it, and it's very easy to split the map up. It's very easy for games to go long. I think it is pretty good for Terran in terms of pushes because it's a bit difficult to surround. And it's also pretty good for air, but not quite as good as people think it is. So overall, I'd say it's actually a much more standard map than a lot of people think it is. It seems like a very alien, weird type of map. Maybe it makes people think of Stasis because of the air blocker that you have, but it's really nothing like Stasis. It is much more of a macro style of map. And I'd say we should see some... Basically, it'll come down a lot to terrain. Can the Terran get in those wedged positions that are difficult to break, or can Zerg use the occasional open area in the map to flank and surround and destroy?
So, I like to think that you talked about the airspace being similar to Stasis, and I tend to agree with you as well, where the distance is just so great. It's not as exploitable to rush out Liberators, to rush out a Viking, to rush out those Oracles, and really punish the other side of the map. You have so far to go, but also you've got Amon in the top center, and I just don't think any unit's got the guts to just go zooming by Amon without feeling a little bit of like fear in their heart of hearts. So that makes Year Zero such a great macro map, just because they know Amon's always watching, and he knows when you cheese. He's like StarCraft Santa. He sees you when you're cheesing. He knows when you make drones. He knows if you've been bad or good. So better be good, for goodness sake. Come on now. But in any case, it's just a big map, lots and lots of opportunities for both players to kind of spread out, really get into that late game tech. More times than not, I see a lot of Thors, see a lot of battle cruisers, and a lot of broodlords on this map, especially in the TVZ. So it would not surprise me to see these players go the distance and try and make a really long game out of this.
It's a very splittable map, definitely.
And here we are jumping into our next lobby. It is going to be Mamba versus Bunny Willis. Bunny Willis, looks like you and I are going to be playing this game. Outstanding.
It's an exhibition match. We do it halfway through.
Oh,
the casters play against each other and cast at the same time.
It's kind of like at the Olympics where they have normal people show up and it's like, hey, we got the 100-meter dash, and now we have the 100-meter dash with a normal person to show just how fast everybody else is.
I would like to see that. I really would, because it just doesn't seem as impressive to watch people run fast when everyone else is running fast and it looks normal, especially like the 5K. Those people are moving so quickly. The marathon was good in Rio because they had people on the edge of the course trying to keep up with people, so you'd have these people on their bikes riding as fast as they could and falling behind these people who were just jogging.
You got the guy on like his golf cart just like drinking a case of beer as he's going along. Yeah, I could have done that if I were your age. So, I guess now it's going to be
the men's marathon. It was the women's as well. It was like people are just trying desperately to keep up. When people try running, they try sprinting. No one's able to keep up with them for more than like 100 meters. It's pretty great to watch, and that actually gets you an idea of how fast these people are going.
All right, so I think we're gonna find a way to make a mod where we can put a third team in that has absolutely no impact on the game, and then we can just occasionally bounce over. All right, so we've seen what our players are doing. Now let's take a look at Salavan, who is now at 17 minutes, still trying to put down a barracks in his main base. Wow, he's really working hard. Good for him. Now let's bounce back to the real players. Sorry, I shouldn't say that about you. I should say that about me. That's me trying to play Terran. It's like at 17. How do I rally all my stuff from my command center? What do I do?
Russia's down 10 SCVs. He's now down 11. He's somehow managed to kill one of his own workers. Not sure it's some sort of tactic or a desperate cry for help.
Oh, that is an accurate depiction of me trying to play Terran. I would much rather play Protoss. I can just I can see the little circles on the ground. It's, oh, that's where I can warp stuff in, and I just warp in like 12 zealots to go after those mutas, because pesky mutas, I just gotta get something.
It's like the when Penny Arcade did Overwatch. They were saying it was basically like if ESPN decided to cast two middle-aged dads playing touch football in their front yards. I'm just thinking, like, that's what it would be like if I managed to play, if I like played on stream.
Oh,
I mean,
baby.
I do play on stream.
Oh.
And that's the thing, it works both ways. I don't look as bad when I'm paired with other people at my level. It's pretty cool that way.
Yeah, when you get people equally matched up, then it definitely looks like a game. Unless it's a silver versus bronze, or a bronze versus bronze, or a silver versus silver, and then it's like watching paint dry. But hey, you know, I can't judge. We were all there. It's like, oh, I can move 2 units at one time. I can draw a box around all of these and click. Oh my gosh.
Oh yeah, I still remember back in the early days of Wings of Liberty, I'm like, alright, I made 25 workers that game. This time the goal is to make 26. Let's just keep pressing that E key, Jay.
All right. So, so I learned how to build that building. Okay, I want to build the next building next time. Oh my gosh, that thing looks so cool. Wait,
Yeah,
you can
remember
upgrade your hatchery?
learning the hotkeys, like 1 or 2 at a time.
Wait a minute. Hydras are like roaches, but they shoot up?
Yes, I'm gonna make nothing but these from now on. Oh god, why are they all dead?
Wait a minute. What do you mean the Terran can build something that shoots fire? That's not fair. All right, here we go. Jumping into year 0. Enough memes. Let's get to the games here. Spawning in the top left-hand corner, our green Zerg playing for AlphaX. They're on match point. Mamba wants to close this out. It is AlphaX's Mamba.
And standing in the way of the clean sweep, it is the Blue Terran, the Grand Master, looking to bring it back. It is Bunny Willis. So Bunny Willis again, sort of the underdog on paper, but by a lot less than before. I think it's about 300 MMR, so we could definitely see Bunny Willis take a game off this, but I'm looking forward to seeing Mamba's ZVT. I have not seen it, and apparently it is quite good.
Well, and seeing he's definitely the underdog on paper, because when you zoom in and you listen, and nope, I don't hear any Uzi gunfire. So, I mean, are these workers even really trying that hard? They just look so slow. There's no fear of death.
You're right. That's what happens when they unionize. They need like a 60-second break every 5 minutes.
Oh, absolutely. Oh, that's exactly what happens. Like when you've got 24 workers on here, and you got half of them like taking a smoke break with their friends out behind the mineral patch. Oh, whatever. The adjutant's not even a real person. What are they gonna?
That's why Alpha Star needs to oversaturate its mineral lines. So some of them can take a break.
Are you telling me the AI is ahead of its time? It's already learned about the power of the people.
The AI is very aware of the fallibility of our mortal flesh.
So as we alluded at the beginning of this match here, this is going to be more of a slower paced game here at the very beginning. Both players opting to open up very safe, very economic. Mamba going into a hatch gas pool. And Bunny Willis also doing the same thing, going barracks into a command center. The Reaper is going to pop out here and go do normal Reaper shenanigans across the map. But again, nothing too crazy outside of just scouting. About the only thing that could be even perceived as odd is the fact that Mamba hasn't tried to go for that early third base. But we've been seeing that more and more where they try and delay that towards 28 or 29 supply. And there goes the drone. Drone should be able to get there uninhibited. He's just going to try and go past and hide, or is it going to the? Oh no, he's not going to a secret base.
He's just trying to get hiding against the Reaper. Because if the Reaper went straight to the third, which is exactly what it looks like it's going to do, it could catch that drone if the drone was not hidden.
Yep.
So Mamba's going to wait until he's ready and then take it. Good moves.
Absolutely here. Factory going down on the opposite end of the spectrum here for Bunny Willis. There's going to be a pretty standard transition into Hellions. We haven't quite seen exactly what he wants to do. It's a 1-1-1 opening. So looks like it could be a setup for either Stim or Banshees with the Tech Lab going down on the barracks. Again, it's going to take us a little bit of time for us to see his true intentions, but a third base does finally get put down for Mamba. So he's just stepping into a normal game.
It is a 1-1-1, so we can pretty much rule his builds down to literally anything in TVZ. But I do think Hellions are the most likely thing. Well, he is making Hellions now, but oh, a Liberator, that's a little bit unusual. You often see Banshees, but I think that means he's going to go for faster Stim, because it means that he can have the Tech Lab on his barracks, which means he might be building up towards a pretty strong 2-base push.
Yeah, but Mamba's going to make him wait for a really, really long time here, as he does have the Overlord kind of flying over top. It's going to be killed off before Bunny Willis decides to make any choices here, and he's still continuing to be patient. I think he's more focused on the Hellions and the Reaper that are outside the front door here, trying to get a little bit of harassment damage done. Liberator is still on the way as well. I don't think the first one, I think that's still the first one that was being built, so.
It is the first one, and he is taking a fast third command center, so he's not really interested in a push. He's getting Stim now, but he wasn't getting it as fast as he could have. So I think he will just go up to those 6 Hellions, which is pretty standard, and then move into a more of a bio-type game off a fast BCC. Bunny Willis is definitely very interested in playing the long game, as we suspected might happen on a map like this. It's also very difficult to actually get in and do any damage on this map. The ramp is good, he's got the double Evo to block that off. The third base is only just now starting to be morphed. But it's also very easy to just defend the area between that second and third base with these queens, so I don't expect these Hellions to get a lot of damage done, but they will slow down the creep, they will get map control. Very fast +1/+1 out of Mamba, not even 5 minutes and he's already got them started, while the engineering bay is only just now starting for Bunny Willis. That could be a big advantage later on.
It will be indeed, and this creep spread needs to continue moving out as well. So the Queens can continue to block and do a lot of the protecting of that third base. Queens do get pulled out of position a little bit, and one's going to get singled out here. More than likely is going to get picked off here. There's no transfusions available. Ooh, actually does a really cute body block with the Hellions to keep it from running away. And that's a nice little pickoff. Every little bit counts.
I like it. So man, Bunny Willis is going into the relatively standard Marines and tanks and Medivacs. Well, I assume Medivacs pretty soon. Make more barracks as we will be seeing pretty standard opening. I imagine he'll take his third fairly shortly now that this orbital command is finished, now that this third base. This natural is saturated. Ooh, Hellion will go down. Good focus fire by Mamba, taking out 2 of these Hellions, though losing a queen for the privilege. But he's continuing to push out this creep slowly but steadily. The creep's good, but not as good as he would otherwise like it. Bunny Willis doing a pretty good job of denying it. Both sides playing very well so far.
Well, I like this little wall that Mamba's created here with the Baneling Nest and the Evolution Chambers. It forces Bunny Willis to make a commitment if he's going to fly in with all of the Reapers here. Excuse me, the Reapers, not the Reapers, the Hellions, because it could very easily just be walled off with the Queens, and now suddenly, who's trapped with who? The fourth base is going to be going up here for Mamba in a nice location, and he's going to start taking the vision of the watchtowers here. This watchtower actually gives you a nice little bit of vision on both of those breakable rock locations. And this one down here does a really nice job of holding the bottom if there are going to be any run-bys with Hellions or whatnot. Really, the only thing it leaves exposed is this center here, but you can just drop an Overlord here, and suddenly you have the entire middle of the map all scouted out. And he's going to do that. I guess he's going to send the Ling across just to see what might be cooking on the bottom side of the map. But it's not going to be a whole lot here. It's going to be a nice little 16 Marine timing push with tanks.
Yeah, remember, meanwhile, going into a Spire, going into Baneling speed and 2-2, going into that more standard mid-game, that is so many creep tumors that will suddenly get sniped off. Oh, that's very bad, remember. But there is some Hellions, some Hellbats, some Marines, and some tanks. Oh, the tanks are not in a great position, though. The Lings can take these out, the Banelings take out the Hellions. That is, I would say, a textbook defense, but actually he's nearly out of Lings, but there is nothing but Marines and a couple of Medivacs left. They are going to snipe a bunch of tumors, but I don't think they're going to be able to get a killing blow as more and more Ling Bane is on the way. It is 1-1 against 1-1 now, but this is going to be a lot of creep that Bunny Willis will clear out, so overall a pretty good push for him.
Yeah, being able to jump on top of the tanks was the essential part of Mamba's defense there. And once the tanks are taken care of, the pushing power automatically disappears. Lings are going to get a nice wraparound on the group of Marines here. They're going to be forced to pick up and leave, but they're only going to leave with about half of what he showed up with. So Mamba getting a really nice trade here, forcing Bunny to constantly pay attention. But that is going to become a distraction here, as this group of medevacs is going to be moving up to the main base here. He's going to drop one of the Marines to force all of the Lings into the force base, and now he's going to do a little bit of double damage. The base down at the bottom is going to be forced into a cancellation, while this group of Marines here is going to kill off a Queen, kill off a couple of workers on gas as well. And Bunny Willis is going to start doing a lot of harass on a lot of different angles. This is one of the downsides of taking that fourth base right outside of the main, is you're forced to split up your army and try and protect both. But these mutas can sit in the middle and guard both. But they've got to make sure that they don't just fall to the Marines. They do finally pick off the medevac here, and all of this does get cleaned up, but there's a lot of damage done here and still being worked on here by Bunny Willis.
Yeah, so overall, Bunny Willis had some great plays. That was a really good move overall. 2-2 will finish up and even up the upgrades, because Bunny Willis will be able to take 3-3 fairly soon, while the infestation pit only just now on the way for Mamba, as he goes for this Mutiling Vein sort of army. And Bunny Willis is going to push out again. This time he's not going for tanks, he's going for Widow Mines, which is the usual tech against Mutalisks. You want tanks against Hydralisks, and you want Widow Mines against Mutalisks, as a general rule in ZVT.
Widow Mines are going to come forward. They are going to be really, really strong against these mutaflocks of Mamba. Mamba's going to be very careful that he doesn't just accidentally throw away his entire Air Force, and Ling Force for that matter, into
That's a lot of Widow Mines. And they're about to have drilling claws as well for this fight. Even a Thor on the way for Bunny Willis. He's not taking the threat of these Mutalisks lightly. Meanwhile, a counterattack attempt for Mamba, probably going to take up this fourth base, maybe even get into the natural. But in the meantime, he is moving forward, is Bunny Willis. He's got those drilling clawed Widow Mines. They burrow so fast, and oh my god, that is a huge connection.
Yeah,
and
that was way too many Banelings taken out.
He goes after the Thor, but the Thor is safely defended against the fourth base that was Bunny Willis making would go down. Here comes the attack from Mamba, but another great group of Widow Mine connections. And now there's a ton of Marines moving forward, and there's almost no Banelings left to stop them.
Yeah, there's a nice little counterattack heading at Bunny Willis's third base as all of this is going down. Banelings connect with a large number of Marines, and with the economy hit back over on Bunny Willis's side of the map, this is actually really good damage for Mamba. He's cut Bunny Willis's supply almost in half, 160 to 90.
Look at the worker supply, it's 82 to 40, and Bunny Willis doesn't really have the army to strike back. He has to. He's pulling everything he can to try and fight this, but I think that Mamba's going to take this game in the next couple of minutes. He's even getting an Ultralisk cabin just in case. Whew. This is probably Bunny Willis's last stand right here.
Well, this is how you know that Mamba feels really comfortable. Ultras, even with the buffs with the speed upgrade and the buffs to everything else, you really only see those used in a lot of strong positions from the Zerg player. Some really good Widow Mine connections do clean up the Banelings here, and Mamba is going to have to step back. The supply count is very strong in Mamba's favor, but he can't just be willy-nilly with all of his plays here. He still has to play very reserved. The army that Bunny Willis has can be incredibly deadly if not contained correctly. These mutas could easily fall to these Thors. Everything's going to start pushing forward here. He's going to try and siege up with these Widow Mines. Widow Mines do manage to get placed. Ooh, some really nice connections here, but Mamba manages to dodge enough of it. GG is called, and Mamba takes game number 3, and I believe the series.
Very well played by both sides, but as you said, Mamba's ZVT is just so good. Look at that, 506 actions per minute. How does anyone play that fast?
Wow. That is an insane amount of clicking, both the mouse and the keyboard, but hey, you know, it is what helped him secure the win over Bunny Willis here, taking the 3-0 victory. AlphaX over ALLIn. And GG's to both teams and all of our players as well. We're just confirming that that was in fact the last game. And
it was indeed.
Yeah, so congratulations to AlphaX here for tonight's victory. BioIce, Uzi Cody, and Mamba each sharing the most valuable players in tonight's series. Sally, any final thoughts on our matchup this evening?
Well done from both sides. In the end, AlphaX just had a bit of a roster victory there. And do tune in tomorrow at about the same time, just half an hour earlier, at 6:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, a special time, as we will be playing the finals of the Contenders Series. We will be playing a bit later so as to work with the players' schedules and not conflict with WCS. It will be Jeterix versus Mandolino, a PvP best of 7 for the ultimate victor of this 5600 MMR restricted tournament.
Sounds like a lot going on this weekend. If you're a StarCraft fan, we've got good news for you. Tons of content coming your way, both from AlphaX and just all over the board. GSL is going to be tonight as well. Got some really good players. TY is going to be playing tonight. Lenok as well. On top of all of the great content coming to you from AlphaX, not only with the Alpha Team League, but our Pro Series as well. We've got some great Pro Series events coming up, as well as Contenders Cup. The finals happening tomorrow. Make sure to hang out and check us out. Twitch.tv/AlphaXSC2. Feel free to give us a follow, and if you even want to, you can go ahead and subscribe. I'm now officially a subscriber. I feel really, really good. Sally, before we check out here, where could they find you if they want to check out more Salavanth content?
Unfortunately, the only place I can currently be found is right here on the AlphaX stream, as I am an Australian. I do not have the best internet. As such, I do not have a personal stream, but I'm hoping to get one sometime this year. But you can check me out in Contenders, because I will be casting that with Snoopy tomorrow.
Absolutely. And if you want to catch up more Rushy content, you can catch me at twitter.com/RushySC, or you can check out my stream, twitch.tv/RushySC. I'm a Diamond 1 Zerg. Recently just played in the Proxy Tempest Tournament of Champions qualifier, where I managed to slip through the bracket and claim my spot in the next Tournament of Champions. So pretty excited about that, along with another AlphaX member, Xenodactyl. So hopefully one of us can manage to take the Victor's Trophy home in the Tournament of Champions sometime in the near future. But that's going to do it for us. We are going to check out here. Thank you so much for hanging out with us this evening. I'm Rushy. This is Salavanth. And we will catch you in the next cast. Take care, everyone.